If you have people who would like to see this that were unable to come to the meeting, or if you would like to access the information again, it will be a recording that you will be able to access. So here's the contact information for Nancy and for me. Just contact us. We'd be more than happy to answer whatever your questions are. We're going to be talking about what is the outreach. And one of our big things is, why do you canvass? I mean, why are we going back out there? Why are we canvassing? And what materials we're going to use, how we're going to distribute it, which precincts we're going to do, and then give you an opportunity to volunteer if you haven't already. And then, like I said, Maggie's going to do a little refresher to us about the minivan. Who are our targets? Okay, we've got two specific targets for this. One is our infrequent voters. Those are the voters who don't show up for the midterms. They're the ones we're going to start with, the Democrats. We are not right now going to be canvassing independents. They are on our list. We appreciate the fact that they need to be canvassed, but right now we're starting with the Democrats. Also, our newly registered voters. Again, we're starting with the Democrats. And what we're doing is a very, very, very short timeline. The packets should go out tomorrow, and we're hoping that we're giving 2 weekends to do it, since weekends are always the best times to canvass, hoping that we'll be done on the 13th. Reorganization happens on the 22nd. This must be completed before reorganization. That is why our timeline is so short. How are we reaching out? This is going to be a very limited canvas. Why is it so limited? Well, I already said we have a short time frame. We are just getting organized. We don't really have all of our volunteers ready to go. So what we decided to do was just pick out the precincts that have strong PC, have a larger number of PCs working with them, who have volunteers that have been working with them over the past year, and start with them, target them first. And then after reorganization, when we have a lot more time to do it and to get our volunteers in order and to really get ourselves going, we will then expand the canvas to touch all the rest of the precincts in LD18. What we're going to do, if you get to the door and people are not home, we are going to leave the flyer at the door. We are not going to keep going back. Again, we have a short time frame. We won't have time to do that. So we're just going to leave it at the door for people who aren't home. We've also got people, especially up here in the foothills, that live in gated communities, live in country clubs, live in apartments that have do not enter written on them. We are calling them inaccessible. Some people did great research into the inaccessibles to put them in the van. So Lori was able to put that in our list that have how many inaccessibles there are in each precinct. We might have gotten some of it wrong just because it's not perfect. But we are going to do a mailing. So every precinct that's on our list will get envelopes, they'll get stamps, so that they can do a mailing to the people who they can't get in, they can't canvass. Why canvass? Why are we really going to start doing that door-to-door stuff? Why are we reaching out to our neighbors? Because the research shows that one-on-one, door-to-door is the best way to reach out to people. It's the best way to have them start a dialogue with us. And we really want to begin to reach out to our neighbors. LD10 has been canvassing. I don't know how many of you did the canvass for LD10, but for the city elections, we went door-to-door. And we stayed very safe. We stayed masked. We kept our social distance. We handed out a brochure, and it worked out. People were very respectful of keeping their distances, but they really enjoyed having somebody come to their door. It's really going to be everyone's preference. Everyone needs to decide how safe they feel. It is something that they did do and they had success with. And canvassers should consider going in pairs. Sometimes, someone who hasn't canvassed before going with people who have canvassed before. There's also, for many of us, we have houses far enough apart, we're going to need a driver. So one person can be the driver and one person can go to the door. But it's really for support as well as because it's really helpful to do that. The other thing for canvassers, and there's going to be a lot of directions that will be in the packets that are going out, but I'm just going through the highlights for this. I don't know if everyone knows what painter's tape is. It's this blue tape that you can get at the hardware store, and it doesn't leave a mark. That's why the painters use it. When they take it off, it won't take the paint off of wherever you're putting it. So it's really good to carry that. The other thing is legally really important. Never leave a flyer in a mailbox or taped to a mailbox. It's very illegal. So that would get us into a lot of trouble. But like I said, there will be more directions. The directions will there'll be one set of directions that will be in the packet. There'll also be an email that will be sent out to the precinct leads with the directions in it, so the precinct leads can print out more copies for everybody who needs it. Okay, each precinct is going to get a packet. In the packet will be the flyers, the directions, the script, the stamps and the envelopes that they need. The script is also going to be in the minivan. So that will be important. Each precinct leader is going to pick up the packet for their precinct. And I sent out an email today, I hope everyone got it, with my address so that the people and another email for people from Marlene's address. People on the east side are going to be picking up their materials. My house, people on the west side are going to be picking them up at Marlene Bluestein's. I'll go through that again later on in the slides. Here is the flyer. This is the flyer that you are going to be going out with. And thank you to our team. There are many people on our team who help work to make this flyer happen. So when you get to the door, if you get to the door, the important thing is going to be to go through the flyer with people. That's why you don't have to sit and memorize the script or memorize the directions, because it's all here in the flyer. One of the things we'd like you to really stress here is why 2022 is so critical. That's one of our messages. One of our core messages here is there are a lot of different elections happening in 2022 that people are going to want to vote for. Besides the top of the ticket, which you can talk about, going all the way down to Corporation Commission and really stressing to people how important Corporation Commission is, and school boards. The right wing is running people in the school boards now. And we all know what that's meant in many school boards throughout the country. It's meant that they've been banning books. They've been doing other things like that. So that would be important to stress. The fact that we are so close to getting our own representation in our state legislature, and that it's so important to vote for 2 representatives and 1 senator for our state representation. On the other side of the flyer is the dates. Urge them to put them in their calendars now. The next thing that's really important is talking about the problem with PEVL. The issue with PEVL will be that if they do not vote in these elections, it is possible that they will lose their early ballot, their mail-in ballot, and they will need to reapply to get it. That is the new Arizona law. We need to let people know that that exists. I just want to remind people who may have come in later that we are not going to answer questions until the presentation is over, and that please put your questions into the chat for Nancy to see, and then we will make plenty of time for everyone to make comments when we're done. So hold on, everybody. We'll really, I promise we'll get to you. The next thing is, if somebody is really, really, really gung-ho, then we need, please talk to them about volunteering. And here's the last thing here, which is very critical, the please contact us. What we decided, we can't put in an LD9 contact. We just couldn't do it. So what we decided to do is have each precinct come up with a system for contacting them. Some people I know are really feeling like they don't feel comfortable with leaving their own information, their own email or their own phone number. Wally Marcus, thank you, Wally, has volunteered to help anybody who wants to do it. Wally's going to put his information in the chat. If you do not know how to do that, if you do not know how to set up your own precinct-wide email or Google number, Wally is more than happy to help you. And so that each precinct has their own contact. Once we are LD18, there'll be an LD18-wide contact information, but we just can't have it now because LD9 needs to shut down. So we just can't do it. Okay, getting ready for the canvas. If you're using the minivan, and I hope most of you will, check the minivan ahead of time. You will get a code with the minivan access in it. Check and see what streets, the whole precinct should have divided up their streets. Check and see what streets you're going to go to. You can also see in there what people you're going to talk to. How old are they? How much have they voted? You can see that in there. Read the script and directions so that you feel pretty secure about it. And, the thing with a script is you need to put it in your own words. It's something that when you go to door, you don't want to be reading the script off of your phone. What you really want to do is just decide how would you want to talk to somebody. And if there's issues that aren't on the flyer and you want to talk about, you can do that too. If you're dropping off the flyer, there is that section at the bottom below the contact information. Do you see down here? There is a space that's just blank. And what you can do in that space is write something like, sorry, I missed you, and just sign your name, even if you're not giving contact information specifically for you. If you're mailing it, again, you can use that blank space to write some sort of a note to somebody saying, I hope to be able to speak with you in the future, or whatever you want to put in there. But it's really a great idea to think about that. So make sure when you're canvassing to bring a pen with you so that you can write in the flyer, if they're not there, some kind of a note to speak to them. Okay, what precincts are we canvassing? These are the precincts that will be canvassed. Here's the important thing. Why did we pick these precincts? Why these and not the other precincts? Like I said, it's because we picked precincts where their precinct leader said to us, I feel confident I can do this. I'm ready to go. And we will let, and those are the ones that we put in this list. It does not mean we will not canvass the other precincts. All the precincts will get their precinct canvassed. And in fact, after these precincts have the experience, they'll be able to be the models, the mentors. They'll be able to share their volunteers. We're just hoping that we can do this in waves so that we can use the personnel we have and really get it done. So the packets for for precincts 56, 148, 149, 210, 159 will be dropped off. I will be dropping them off tomorrow at Marlene Bluestein's house. I sent an email to the precinct leaders with the contact information for her. If you want to, if you haven't seen it and Marlene, you're willing to do it, Marlene can put it also into the chat. All the other precincts will be picking their things up at my house. I did send an email to everyone with that address. If you didn't receive it, there is my phone number. You can call me and ask me, and I can send it directly to you. Okay, here we go. Nancy, unmute yourself.
I'm happy to, but mostly just had comments and, you know, that kind of thing. So there's not really a question in here. So
here's the important thing about how you can help. If you've already volunteered, thank you. Thank you so much for volunteering to help. Your precinct leader knows you've done it, and it's great. If you want to sign up now to help, and we really appreciate it if you do, please put your name in the chat with your precinct number. If you are in a precinct that we already have listed, then the precinct leader will contact you, and we will let the precinct leader know that you want to volunteer. If you are not from the precincts that we listed, then Nancy and I are going to go through the list, and we will send to the precinct leaders who have said they need more volunteers. We will share your name with a precinct leader who will contact you. Gail, would you like to unmute and share your experience with canvassing in LD10?
Sure, and I apologize for being late because I was out canvassing and I lost track of the time. Many apologies. So this canvas is really an easy one. People are glad to get the information that we're giving them. We're not asking anybody for anything. And, you know, it's the usual. Many people aren't home. Many people don't answer the door, even if they are home. But the folks you get are generally very receptive to the information we're providing. And that's a great introduction to these sporadic voters who we really need to get this year. So I would say this is a great way to break back into canvassing with very little angst involved.
Thanks, Gail. It's really helpful. I was saying that I went out with you guys for the city elections, and it was very positive. Every once in a while, I would run into someone who's no longer a Democrat, but not often. Really felt good about how it went. Thanks, Gail. I appreciate it. Each precinct knows their gated communities. They know their neighborhoods. A precinct can choose. A precinct's going to have the list of all the people, and they're going to have the flyers. And if they decide, no, we're not going to mail to that gated community, we know we can get in there and we can canvass, then yes, go and canvass. We're really trying. That's why we're doing this from a precinct to precinct level, is so that the precincts themselves can look at the list, and the precincts themselves can make the decisions that need to be made to go into the communities or not. The people in the gated communities are on the list. We're just providing the mailing materials for you if you cannot get in.
In terms of those gated communities or apartments which says private, do not enter, who is going to mail the flyers to those people?
We are going to give each precinct envelopes and stamps so that they can mail out the flyers to the people in their community that are considered to be inaccessible. So that if someone is on your list and they're in a gated community you can't go into, you will have the envelope, you will have the stamp, and you will be able to mail it. So we're really, again, leaving it to the precincts to look at their list, to decide, nope, can't get in there. Just to give you an example, where I live in 88, we have Skyline Country Club, and we don't have anybody right now as a volunteer who lives there. So we are going to have to mail to the people who are on the list from there, because there's just no way to get in there. And we have the stamps and we have the envelopes to do that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Evie.
You may have said it, but do we know when the packets are ready to be picked up?
They'll be ready tomorrow. I'm going to be counting out all of the flyers tonight, and then Nancy's going to get for me the directions and the script, and they will be ready to be picked up by, I would say, mid-morning tomorrow. Becky, I see you're waving your hand again.
Is it okay if I feel that there's a little bit more information that I want to convey to the people in my precinct? If I write something up and put it in with the flyer, because I send email. I have the email addresses for a lot of people in my precinct, because over the years I've been collecting them as I make contact with these people, and I send them emails.
It's always okay, Becky. Having precinct leaders, having people who are within their own precincts and meeting within their own precincts means every precinct can make decisions and can decide, this is my population. I know my neighbors. I know the people around me. I know what I think I want them to hear. And you can adapt accordingly. That's our real wish for everybody, is that everyone feels empowered to be a part of this, that we're just giving you raw piece of it. And then you take it and go with it, because you know your neighbors. Thank you, Becky. That's great.
Once the PC leads get the packets from you or Marlene, then they are going to reach out to the people who are doing the volunteering. And as you pointed out, there may be different strategies that people in each precinct use. So I don't want Evie to leave this meeting with the idea that she'll have her packet necessarily tomorrow afternoon or whatever.
Okay. Well, she should have it. I mean, I'm counting them out tonight. They should be, but call me before you come, so that I'm
not talking about the leads who pick them up from your house. I'm talking about the people who will be doing the canvassing.
Right.
It will be up to the lead in each precinct to reach out to the canvassers. Am I right?
I'm actually a lead.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that's why we have 2 weekends that are part of the timetable here, because most people want to do this on the weekend. And that gives the precinct leads time to get this distributed to their people. Probably the best way to do it is to have a meeting of all the PCs together, but sometimes that can't happen. So however it works for you to get the materials to people is really what you should do in order to make it work. We are still on this timeline, and Susan can comment on it more, but we really have to be done before the 22nd when reorganization happens. That's the criteria here, because we need to shut down all of the codes. We need to shut down all of that in order to move forward. Just some notes that I thought of and Nancy thought of before Maggie starts.
I've gotten quite a few volunteers, so I just want to thank everybody. I've written your name down, your precinct, and someone will be in touch with you. So you've done what you need to do, and I think I got you all. So, but you can continue until we sign off, because I'll be watching for your messages in chat. Okay, thank you.
Fabulous. Yay, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is so exciting. We're moving. Okay, just some notes that I just want to tell people. You're going to get your codes for your precinct from your precinct leader. Every precinct leader will get the code for your precinct. If you've used the minivan before, one of the things I keep getting questions about, it's the same minivan app that you used 2 years ago. It's still good. I did it with mine and I didn't have to reboot anything up. It just worked. The other thing is your ID and password is the ID and password that you've used before. And you used, many of you used it last year when we did the phone banking for Mission for Arizona or for other things. You signed on and you used an ID and a password. That's the same ID and password. So you don't have to re-sign up. You're already in there. And in fact, if it sees your email addresses, which is what most people's IDs are, it will ask for your password. If your password, if you don't remember it after all this time, you can say, I forgot my password, and you will get an email that will ask you to reset your password. So that's something that that everyone should be aware of. If you think you need additional help after Maggie speaks, contact your precinct leader. And if your precinct leader needs additional help, from that, they can contact Nancy or I, and we'll be more than happy to help out.